Hi folks, Puffin here with your Antifa News Briefa for March 25th, 2022. Trump is a Putin puppet. Of course, this isn't news at all. This has been the most obvious thing to anybody paying attention for 5, 6 years now. But it's still breaking news because it hasn't dawned on many people that yes, Trump is a Putin puppet. But one day it will dawn on these people. If you choose to go back and look at every action Trump did, everything he said, with the lens of are you a Putin puppet, you'll see that it's true. You can find that out for yourself right now. It doesn't need to get any worse. Of course, it can get worse, and we need to do what we can to stop it. The big conflict to understanding that Trump is a Putin puppet is that President Joe Biden himself called Trump Putin's puppy to his face and in front of 50 million viewers at a debate, but he hasn't acted like he's Putin's puppet since then. You can seize these Russian oligarchs' yachts and mansions and properties and whatever. You can cut off their banking supplies. But Trump is still running around free, picking candidates. I heard something about, I guess another news aspect of this is I heard Dr. Oz running for senator, and he and his Republican primary contender are both, begging Trump for an endorsement. And it's like, so Trump is still trying to pick politicians in America, even if he's not able to run again himself. He's trying to be the kingmaker, or through Putin, be the kingmaker. Now, it's been real obvious that Trump is a Putin puppet. The very biggest piece of evidence, like I said, every single thing he says is evidence. Every single thing he did and said is evidence of him being Putin's puppet to destroy America. He tried his best and he succeeded in a lot of different ways, unfortunately, and we haven't undone those, which is another thing that's real questionable about Biden. But he did succeed in killing almost 1 million Americans and 6 million people worldwide with the Trump virus. And one big proof that Trump is Putin's puppet is the 3 countries that had the worst Trump virus, USA, India, and Brazil, were run by 3 of Putin's puppets, all of whom were elected by Putin using fake accounts on Facebook to make him seem popular in the real world until he was popular in the real world. This is definitely true for Bolsonaro, because we heard about 150,000 fake accounts of Facebook and Twitter that were removed after doing their work for months, just a few days before the election. We don't know how many were used in America, but considerable amount to make Trump popular here. And probably the same thing done in India, because all these guys had similar policies. Well, Bolsonaro called himself Trump of the tropics. And as I said, these 3 countries had the worst Trump virus because they were all using the same lies that Putin scripted for these guys to spread it as much as possible. So that's the biggest evidence against them, but everything is evidence against them. And the other side of the evidence in the news that came out recently is the prosecutors who were about to, like, on the edge of their seats, chomping at the bit to indict Trump, to have him arrested, to take him in for tax fraud stuff in New York City, or state of New York. They resigned because the new DA stopped the investigation. So, which is a perfect example of Trump and Putin trying to obstruct justice, never facing justice. The impeachments, in both cases, he's dealing with a prejudiced jury who half of them refuse to hear anything ill against Trump because they're also Putin puppets. So it's not as if he's ever faced justice. He's just been able to escape facing justice every single time. We knew from the Mueller report that Russiagate is real. And yet a story I saw on YouTube from 18 hours ago is that Trump is now suing Hillary Clinton over Russiagate. Yeah, he can use money and rigging the judicial system to his advantage to, for instance, block that investigation in New York until a new DA was appointed, then get a crooked DA appointed that will favor him. So he can cheat to avoid justice, but he never can actually face justice, which is the exact same thing Putin is doing with his support. He can lie to get support, but he can never get any genuine support based on what he's actually doing. All of his support is based on people either agreeing to his lies or knowing that they're lies and just being evil themselves, spreading the lies intentionally for the evil purposes he has. But no good-hearted person can support Putin unless they believe his lies. So it's the exact same situation. It's one way Trump is Putin's puppet, but that they operate the exact same way. But the way to look at it is, since he's never faced justice, All he's been able to do is avoid justice here and there. You know he's guilty. When the prosecutors say they know he's guilty, well, prosecutors know lots of people are guilty, but they have to prove it in court. But if they're not given the chance to prove it in court, not only is Trump guilty, but the system is guilty that's protecting him. That could go all the way up to Joe Biden, because it's been over a year and Trump's not arrested. So if Merrick Garland and Joe Biden aren't also Putin puppets, I mean, because, Hillary Clinton called out Tulsi Gabbard for being a Russian agent, but Hillary Clinton is herself a Russian agent, so, you can do it. You can call it on each other, but if you don't do anything about it, then it's just names in the wind. Anyway, people will do something about it if, the populace has to grab them by the posse. Hashtag grab them by the posse. Because if justice doesn't work, that's how justice is done. That's why you want a good justice system, to avoid mob justice. Anyway, however we get rid of Trump, be fine with me. Just needs to be gone so we can quit talking about him. Exact same situation with Putin. There's a reason why they're in the exact same situation, because it's like a freaking Russian nesting doll, and Putin's the little one in the middle. So anyway, let's get to the center of that Tootsie Roll Pop. Let's take 3 quick licks at it and be done. Save Ukraine, save the planet, save us all, and end Trump-Putinism, and arrest Trump and Putin is their safest plan. Thanks for watching and sharing. See you soon.